Coach, can you just describe your team's performance today, first half, second half?
Well, I got to give Eastern New Mexico a ton of credit. What we saw in the film was really true, that we felt like the Blackman, number one, their point guard, was going to be a handful because of his quickness and the number of on-balls that they used. And they set that on-ball screen with multiple people and try to get isolation. And we switched a lot of that. When they really made their run and bothered us was when we were trying to double team it or hedge it or red it, trap it, as we call it. And they were able to slip the screen and find the next shooter, and they were very poised. They're a big kid. They just got eligible. I thought gave him a nice he also gave him kind of a nice McFarland kid, kind of gave him a nice poise and presence. They started him. He just got eligible here the other day, and they're kind of mature with that sense. They didn't seem very rattled. They were obviously an older, more experienced, quick team. They chose their opportunities, when to shoot the three, when to drive, when to fast break. I thought that what we did that was positive was at halftime we tried to make a few adjustments, but we tried to just do what we were doing, do it a little more intensely, be a little bit more aggressive, trying to get to the paint a little bit more. I thought that if we could create foul opportunities by getting to the paint. The stat that we had at the first half is that we were 8 for 12 from the field when we touched the paint, whether that was on a curl, a post up, or anything else. And we kind of got we were kind of looking for the home run ball, I thought, in the first half too much. We were taking the first available shot, and it really wasn't a great shot. It was an okay shot. And we just talked about, hey, we got to take better shots as we continue to go down the stretch there and get those inside touches and get to the free throw line, which we ended up getting there 14 times and knocking at 10, and then crashing the offensive boards, which we ended up beating them, on the boards 41-30. And without that, then the game's it's a losing game if we don't impose our size on them a little bit. And then the last thing I thought was critical is that we got great minutes out of Joe Allwich, where we decided just to switch the on-ball screen and have all 5 guys. And so basically finished up the game with 3 guards and 2 forwards, and just continued to switch out the screens to prevent the immediate pick and slip, pick and pop, or turn the corner. I thought that adjustment helped us well. And then we played Kyle Oddister, which was giving some shots, and I thought Kyle played well because he was in the flow. He didn't try to force a shot every time. He waited for a shot to come, and he had some nice little drives, had a nice little balance. He had 10 assists. He didn't turn the ball over. He played some solid defense, had a little rebound there. So I think getting some great minutes out of him, as Chris O'Brien's a little tight in the back right now, and just having that quickness to match their quickness.
Did you feel like your team came out a little bit flat, or is that just kind of what happens when an experienced team gets some momentum like that, and to kind of hang in the game and play real well?
I thought it was, I don't know if it was flat as much as, trying to get the speed of the game. I mean, I thought that, when you practice against each other and you're at one speed, and we had a great practice day before, so I was really pleased with our practice effort and intensity. And then you go against a team that is quicker at you at 2 or 3 positions. I mean, just their 1, 2, and 3 were quicker than our 1, 2, and 3. And their 4 was quicker too. Now we had a little strength and size on them, but the quickness can negate things. And I thought our guys were just simply, trying to adjust to that speed of the game. And where do you find your advantages, and how do you find the advantages? Because they just switched every screen and down low and in front of the post real aggressively, and we weren't able to really take advantage of that.
Did you feel like it was just a matter of your team kind of deciding to, go inside and really kind of take hard fouls if that was what was necessary?
Yeah,
kind of muddy it up in the second half?
I think we had to make the game a little dirtier. I mean, I think we had to become more physical, more aggressive, impose our will a little bit more. A little more aggressive on the drives, a little bit more aggressive on the post up, a little bit more aggressive on the defensive end. And coach does a great job with them, and it's one of those teams that we knew that was type of team that we struggle with, because we played a closed-door scrimmage against a team, a Division II team that we can't mention, but they're very quick, and we were down, while we were going through a practice scrimmage, and we had at least a whole first half where we couldn't get them under control. And so that's where we had made some decisions during the week that if it got to that point, that we would take out our bigs and go with Joe Allwich and go with forwards and go with maybe a Kyle Oddister and go with the smaller lineup just to match the quickness defensively so that we can hold them to under 60 points. So the danger in that game is that you forget, you're so worried about trying to use your bigs to score on them that you forget your bigs are hurting you defensively, and then they're getting to the paint and they're getting shots and they're getting extended out. And so we had to go with a smaller lineup to kind of attack that quickness with quickness.
Joel got on the court a little bit more this game than he has, recently. Is that something that you want to do more of as far as having him?
Well, I don't really make those decisions. The players make those. You got to come out, and he had a good week of practice last week, and then he got a few minutes up in Nevada Reno, and he had a very good practice yesterday. We gave him a chance to practice. We say, hey, look, this is how we want you to play screens. We got to have somebody that's another Chris Eversley type of body out there that we're developing that has the quickness and the length. You saw a couple of the rebounds that he had, that quickness. You saw defensively how he was comfortable guarding a guy at 28 feet from the hoop. And, I don't think number one took a shot on him. He did early in the first half, but towards the end, Blackman kid was, when Joel stepped out, he wasn't taking that shot right away. And then Kyle did a nice job of shortening the court space on him and putting a little double on him to make him get rid of the ball.
You guys have kind of made your mark with defense the last few years, the last couple games at least. And I didn't go back and look before that, but giving up like 40% to plus to teams, is that something that you feel like you guys need to tighten up and kind of improve on going into conference?
It's really guarding the 3-point line, and what we've found is that what we're having the most problems with is guarding tall shooters from the perimeter. And so tonight we figured that, well, if we can use our quickness to match their quickness and then climb up into those shooters, they were 6 for 18, which is 33%, which is respectable. It's not great, but it's it's getting down to that level, and they made some good shots and tough shots. But I thought a few of those were. How many of those were in the first half?
2 of 7 in the first.
2 of 7 in the first half, 4 of 11 in the second half, and so not much difference. 36%. They actually shot the ball better in the second half. But yeah, I think that the number one way that we got to make our mark is continuing to improve our perimeter defense on the 3-point shooting. We got to when we have that shorter lineup in, we've got to be able to close out quicker and deeper. And as we go up to Santa Clara, you got a taller team, longer athletes. The University of Washington's got some 6'5", 6'6", 6'7" wings that can shoot the ball. And if you're not there on the catch, you have no chance with 6'2" guards. So I think that's a big part that we constantly are adjusting our games to be able to defend those those long athletes that can shoot it.
Is that also part of having kind of a younger squad with a lot of freshmen?
Well, we have, obviously, look again tonight. We had Brian Bennett, a freshman, played 25 minutes. Joe Allwich is a freshman, played 13 minutes. Reese Morgan is a freshman. Got Zach Gordon as a freshman, got 6 minutes. We played Reese in the first half, 4 minutes. He injured himself a little bit. I don't know, he's played more than 4 now, but he was, dove on the ball. So, there's 4 or 5 guys out there that are just getting their first, taste of that. And they got to experience how quick players are, how tall players are, and how well they shoot, and how well they're coached. And it's definitely something. But, there's a lot of other teams have freshmen playing too. So we don't give them any excuses for it. That's for sure.
Is Reese okay?
We'll see how those guys are in a day or two. A lot of times it's
what was the injury?
He got a hip pointer.
Okay.
And he dove for a loose ball. He had a bad hip on one side. He hit the same one and really came up. Thankful it's not his knee again, but he clearly was wounded a little bit. And Chris O'Brien has had a tight back and somewhat limited with his mobility tonight too. So we thought we'd dial that back as well.
What do you guys have to? What's the number one thing you guys have to do going into Santa Clara, Washington?
Well, we've got to establish Cal Poly basketball with our defense and rebounding, and then our offense is going to continue to improve but we have to night in night out believe that we can go in and control who's shooting the ball, how much pressure we're getting on them, what we're doing in the post defensively. I think we're gonna be a good Big West Conference team if we can improve for another month and a half. By February, I got to feel real confident that our style of play is really etched into how we want to do it defensively. And then, of course, like everybody, you want to play your best basketball in March. So we've got another 3 months. It's middle of December, and got middle of January, mid February, and by middle of March, you got about 10 weeks before hopefully you're a team that's in the Honda Center trying to get to the NCAA tournament. So it's about improve, and we got to improve our defense, our rebounding, and our offensive shot selection and rhythm, and getting some balance to what we have. But I like the direction we're going, and we've got a chance to get play against two great teams. In Santa Clara, I think 7-2 right now, just beat San Jose State, and then University of Washington, defending Pac-10 champions, with a McDonald's All-American at the point guard, senior, and Abdul Gadi. So the next two games, we're looking at Kevin Foster, one of the prime players in the West Coast, the point guard there, off guard. I think he's the top 10 or 15 in the NCAA in scoring. We put a schedule together that was going to test us.
Yeah, so I don't want to be a broken record, but do you feel like that schedule is helping you guys improve still? Or are you I mean, like you said, you put together that tough schedule, and then there's a couple of games against like Menlo and Eastern Mexico.
I don't think there's a choice. I mean, we just have to do it. If we're gonna play in the NCAA tournament, if we're gonna recruit guys, we got to play the best. We got to play conference champions. We got to play against great athletes. We got to play against guys that are going to be playing in the NBA, and that's going to help two things. We're going to learn how to play against them, and it's going to help us recruit guys that are going to look like the guys that we're playing against. And that's just part that we're not going to compromise that. And scheduling is getting harder. Now. Not as many teams are willing to play us at this point because we're competitive. I don't think that we're a national team. I think we're a long way to go, but people do know that we will defend and we'll shoot it and we'll share it. So, that's a compliment when scheduling gets more difficult. People say, well, why do you play this time? Well, a lot of times it's whoever you can get a game for on that given night, because somebody has to agree to play to you. And so sometimes people only want to play home games against you, and they don't want to come down here and do, as we call a little old Cal Poly and our little gym, and, get a little nervous about that. So, which is good. That's a good compliment.
Great.
Thanks.